OPPD has announced the first two projects chosen for its new Greener Together program. This program lets people vote on which green projects in the community they would like to see supported.
6 News' Laura Samble shows us who will receive the funding and how they hope to make a difference.
In the Greener Together program, OPPD community members pay a small monthly fee. That money goes toward green projects voted on and chosen by the program's members.
First up, Whispering Roots awarded $50,000 to work with students in 10 urban schools in Omaha on sustainability, STEM, and agriculture. Greg Fripp, founder and CEO of Whispering Roots, says he's honored.
There's so many people doing such great work. I mean, to be recognized by the community, to receive the votes, to earn the grant was something that's very exciting.
Fripp says the students will build raised garden beds similar to these using plastic, which would normally go into landfills. Schools already chosen for the project include and King Science Magnet Middle School, both in North Omaha.
One of the issues that we run into in underserved communities, especially in North Omaha, is access to healthy food. Gardening and food is family. And so using agriculture, using STEM, using, plants and vegetables, that builds family. Establishing strong roots, strong communities, it's essential that we continue to do these things.
Next, Habitat for Humanity in Omaha awarded $80,000 to help reduce utility bills for low-income households. The pilot project will provide access to solar energy systems for homeowners who would otherwise not be able to afford it. Britton Gable with OPPD says so far, the Greener Together program is off to a good start.
So through participating in the Greener Together program as an OPPD customer, your money can go to make an impact in the community,
giving members a voice and a chance to be a part of change. On your side in Omaha, Laura Samble, 6 News.
Nearly 5,000 OPPD customers signed up for the Greener Together program. The next window for submitting project applications opens this Wednesday.